Hello, everyone. What's going on, buddy? It's Timpedia, and welcome back to the TNT podcast. We're here. It's the summer. Well, it's
And it's
not summer
not
yet.
episode 200. We'd know the episode number if it was
We
episode 200,
we
right?
would we would we would definitely know. Definitely.
Definitely, 100%, without a doubt.
100%. Never made a mistake. But
We don't say the number, we can't make a mistake.
who's here to not make mistakes? Well, I'm Timpedia, but on my right,
That's Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
and on my
Just
left,
Tyler. Just Tyler. Only Tyler.
woo.
Tyler.
And we got a whole stack of news coming at you.
Coming at your ear
live.
holes.
Coming at you. Oh my god.
Actual good gaming news this week.
Hated
Not
that.
gonna lie,
Like
it's not just
BYU.
it's not just us delivering bad investor reports.
Freeman,
Except for the first story.
Freeman, I was gonna say, do you want to start with good news, or do we want to go into the
No, let's go with our bread and butter, talking about just bad game development investments, and then we'll talk about the good news.
Makes sense.
Yes.
So,
but-
Square Enix. So, a little while ago, we talked about how Square Enix had put out this statement that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy 16, their numbers were all well below expectations. And everyone's like, "What are you talking about? This makes no sense." There's like this. These games were talked about by everybody. I mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake is one of the most famous, things out there. Why aren't we, what do you mean? And basically this came back up because a guy named Jacob Navok, I don't know, Navok on Twitter.
I don't know.
He basically put out this long chain of tweets that basically said, "Hey, I was a higher up at Square Enix for not whoever the CEO is now, but the two before him. He reported to two different Square Enix CEOs. So he has a pretty good idea. I forget what his exact role was. Something in business. It's like Barney Stinson from How I Met Your Mother. Like, what do you do? Nah.
I have a job.
But so he puts out this long thread on Twitter, and it gains some traction. And basically, he goes, "Look, it doesn't matter if your game is talked about, if it sells well. In today's day and age, games cost so much freaking money that Square Enix, to start a project like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, has to get a ton of investor money to make it actually happen." So what does Square Enix do? Well, they go to the investor and they say, "Hey," or they come up with they start with a number. They go, "Okay, we need this much money to make the game. How do we make our money back?" Well, you take 30% from console manufacturers. You take obviously paying everyone to make the game. You take marketing, and you take a return on your investment for the investors that has to actually beat what they could do. Basically, just investing in the stock market. Like, they need a better return on their investment than just saying, "I let my money do its automatic thing. What do I get out of giving you money to make Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in this case?" So add all of that up, and you get to the stupidly high expectations that Square Enix apparently had for these games. Freeman, you were going to...
Yeah, the grand thing is they really need to change the title. It's not that it didn't meet sales projections or sales numbers. It's straight up, this game wasn't profitable enough is the sentence they're trying to say without saying it. And if they would just say it out loud, we would stop saying, like, "Well, what do you mean you didn't sell enough? Everyone bought it." It's purely profitability. Like, you look at 7, and when I say look at 7, I mean you look at the game itself, and you can understand exactly where the development bloat happened with this game. And Square is kind of in a bind because right now their big tentpole games, the ones that they're spending like magnitudes of yen on, are the only ones selling. And then you look at their lower budget projects that they just refuse to market because they're not Final Fantasy, and they undersell. So Square's in this weird spot where it's like, well, we got to keep making bigger and bigger games because they're the only things we can sell, but they're not profitable enough to appease investors.
Well, but it's also funny because Square Enix like goes out of its way, like you said, to make these like goofy small projects that like Foam Stars, like there's Splatoon. Like no one asked for that, no one needed it, but like because of the sins of shit like that, Final Fantasy has to sell more and more and more and more.
So exactly one person asked for it, and they were an investor saying, "Can you get us another live service game that isn't Final Fantasy 14? We need another live service game instead of
Yeah.
your current one that prints money."
Yeah, I was one of my podcasts was like, yeah, if Final Fantasy 14 became its own company, that company would be crazy profitable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's goofy.
But
But yeah, it's definitely they need to figure out how to scale back their releases. Like you look back to Final Fantasy 13, and they spent like a better half of a decade prepping this game, and then it just sucked. It was, from a technical standpoint, it looked great, but it just wasn't a good game. And they proceeded to spend the next like 4 years asset flipping for 13.2 and 13.3 because they're like, we spent so much money on development, we got to recoup this cost somewhere.
well, but also here's the thing about it too, like Square Enix is so funny because what are we calling them? Square Enix. The only reason they're called that is because multiple times this company has had to merge with other companies or been bailed out and bought out to keep existing.
Yeah, it really should be Enix Square, considering Enix bought Square,
Yeah, like
because Square fucked up
so
and spent
many
all
times.
their money on the Spirits Within and almost went bankrupt from it.
Yeah.
Like that's what's funny. It's so easy to forget because they put out so few. Like if you think about how many Final Fantasy games were coming out when we were younger, I didn't play
Only
any of
every
them,
2-3
but
years, I think.
like
Was the original cadence.
ridiculous rate of release. And now, when was Final Fantasy 15 to 16?
15 came out around the same time as Persona 5, so almost a decade ago.
Oh my god, dude, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Let me see. When Final
It's
Fantasy
hard to
15
think
released?
that that's the case. Yeah, wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
it was.
Final-
Sorry, it was 2016, and then it was 2023 was. Sorry, 2016 was
years.
15, and 23 was 16. So 7 years between.
7 years between
15 and
Final
16.
Fantasy games. Now, yeah, obviously 7 Rebirth
think
also
about
is in there,
that.
but like
Kingdom Hearts
years.
3 also came out somewhere in there.
Oh my god. But even then, like it's mind-boggling that like yeah, we took all this time, all this money, and it's hard not to see like how is anybody supposed to sustain this? This is just kicking the can down the road. It has to be because like how do you keep this going? Like
So I had my hopes up with 16 and 7 Part 2 because up until like during the 13 to 15 era, Square every time they kept investing a lot of money in making their own engines that just they'd use for one game, and they'd spent so much on this like engine development that starting with Kingdom Hearts 3, they're like, all right, fuck it, we're using Unreal. And hopefully that would bring down their development time because they don't have to spin up these engines and the cost because they can just license it instead of having to like pay an engine specific team or make your own studio like Luminous Studios, or you're just going to shut down.
It's just it blows my because even with that, Friedman, they still apparently completely failed to meet expectations. And like okay, I think it's pretty hard to say that the third Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 7 has to come out, right? Like the end of the trilogy has
it's
to
their bread and butter.
release.
This is even if it's not meeting sales expectations, this is their best-selling game.
But after that, what happens to Square Enix? Like if Final Fantasy 7, one of the most famous games in history, the remakes of that can't get Square Enix to be a sustainable company. Instead, they'd rather flush all their money down on like NFTs.
It's not flushing; it's printing. They're going to print money with NFTs.
Yeah, it's the
The
meme
print.
of the printer
Yeah.
going into the shredder.
Yes.
Or what is it? The fax machine that just drops into the shredder? Like
Part of me wants to say, like, if Square Enix goes out and says, like, hey, like, we can't beat the market, please don't invest in us. Like, at a certain point, someone will say, like, okay, cool. What kind of company are you? What do you make? Is the answer you make money, or is the answer you make video games at a profit? Because as long as you make video games at a profit, you're a profitable video game company.
yeah.
And investors don't need to invest in you. In fact, once you've sold your initial stock, you don't need to appease investors at all. They're trading amongst themselves. Just do the Jeff Bezos approach of saying, "Hey, you own Amazon
Well-
stock, like you don't actually have a say in the company."
Well,
Sorry.
Friedman, or you could be like Larian and like buy yourself out and just stew on a game, but then you also almost go bankrupt multiple times to make Baldur's Gate 3.
I don't know if Square has the money to buy themselves out.
They're not. There's no chance. No chance
No
that they
way.
do. But it's tough. Like it sucks because it feels like we're heading for this world of the only games that are allowed to exist at this scale are like 5 games and live service games.
Free to play live service. It's
Yeah.
just, it's disturbing.
And it's like we're no longer in the age of, oh, what's the next big game that you're going to play against? It's, oh, do you have the ability to pull people away from Fortnite or whatever they're playing?
Yeah.
Like, did kids stop playing Fortnite to play Final Fantasy VII? Darth Vader came out last week. I gotta play Darth Vader.
Dude, half my other Magic group are playing Final Fantasy VII to go play Fortnite every week.
Oh my god.
It's the reverse effect.
But like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no longer just like what's the game people are playing. There's always there's no peaks and valleys. There's just a low key that you have to break through. There's like a low level of just playing those live service games that you have to break through, and they're not going anywhere. Fortnite's not going to shut down anytime soon.
Wait, Fortnite's shutting down?
I said isn't.
I know.
That Fortnite shut down. Wait, what?
But like, Fortnite could realistically have enough money to be around to when Henry starts getting interested in video games.
I mean, I was just talking about licensing the Unreal Engine, and all that shit goes to funneling the money printer.
If only Epic Game Store was enough to sink Epic, because that store is has clearly not worked out.
It's not that epic.
If only everybody could be like Valve, where they're a company who does whatever the fuck they want because they also don't have investors, but not every company prints money.
Privately owned companies. Gotta love them.
Do you? Because they have their own
Yes.
problem. All I was trying to get at was like, it sucks because it feels like we're heading for this world where games, like big AAA games that are exciting, just will not exist anymore. Because their budgets are just not sustainable. Like, you can't tell me that Square can afford to put out a Final Fantasy game every 5 years and go, this didn't meet expectations, and we're also going to dick around with a bunch of projects that didn't make money in the meantime. And Final Fantasy XIV is just keeping the company alive. Which, what was the proto live service game? MMOs. So that's their only moneymaker. Like,
Final Fantasy XIV almost didn't print money at first. It almost lost the company.
Yep. I don't know. Anyway, this was also kind of lamenting, like, we're definitely headed for this world where, like, you're just indie or live service. There is no big RPG anymore.
Yeah, even Sony's getting to this point where, like, we'll get to the state of the play shortly, but like, you look at what all the big releases on PS5 were. It's just sequels of the existing single player franchises they have.
Yeah.
It just feels like we're not going to get anything new.
But also, like, the dev times are so long now.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like, you got to make the prettiest game ever, and it's like, man, I'm sure there's other factors, but like I said, Final Fantasy games were coming out all the time.
So I'm not sure if it's
I mean, this is always the big stat, and it's also because you don't, like, yes, Rockstar doesn't need to do this, but GTA 5 is the biggest meme of we are now in our 3rd console generation since those games came out, or since that game came out. What have they put out since then? Red Dead 2, and that's it? That's insane.
They really done no other games other than just support GTA.
It's coming out though.
Prince
GTA
money?
7 is coming out though.
Do you mean 6?
Or 6, sorry, yeah. Yeah, GTA 6 is coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out, but it's like over a decade after. Like, how many GTA games came out when we were young? San Andreas, Vice City, 3, at least 1 or 2 PSP games.
There were 3 released on the PS2, right? 3 Vice City San Andreas, and then Vice City Stories came out like shortly after for PSP. And then Bully was released in the mix there. That's the same company, right?
Yeah, I think it was a different studio.
Oh.
Technically, you could probably... Didn't L.A. Noire get finished by Rockstar? Tyler? Does that sound
Yes.
crazy? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it did.
But like, look at what I mean. Like, what do we have coming out these days? And let's go into the state of play. Let's transition. We're not really talking about Square anymore. But like,
No, we're just
Freeman,
talking about the gaming industry.
let's talk about what is coming on the horizon for Sony
So
as the only
if you
console
ask
manufacturer that isn't Nintendo.
if you ask the average gamer, they will say this was the most disappointing state of play because like nothing super hype got shown off. Not gonna lie, I'm not even gonna talk about most of the stuff shown because most of it was pretty boring. But the two things that stuck out to me as cool to see, the first one was Astrobot getting announced for later this fall. For anyone who bought a PS5 and got to play the Astro's Playroom demo for what this like platformer could work like if they really used the PS5 controller and made this very nice interactive feedback experience. It was a cool little demo, and playing through it, it made me think, like, I just wish Sony had a Mario game. And they've realized that Astrobot is just going to be their Mario platformer franchise. So it looks kind of cutesy. It's definitely got like if you play like the most recent Kirby game, it's got that kind of feel to it with this not quite top down, but also behind the back jumping platformer thing. Either way, it looks cute. It looks fun. I will probably buy this to send a message to Sony to please just like invest in other things. Like platformers are still cool. Cute games, they're still fun. It's very tongue in cheek. They have references to every other like Sony franchise in this, so it carries on the spirit of like Sackboy in Little Big Planet with the like costumes they did for that. So it feels very on brand for Sony. Happy they're doing it. And then we got our first look at Monster Hunter Wilds, the new.
Wait, Freeman, I just want to say about Astrobot.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it was the cool demo for the controller. How many things have actually used the cool features of that controller since that demo was shown?
So, two games I've played have done it, and it's because they're both PS5 exclusives. It's Final Fantasy 16 and it's Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. 7 Part 2 did a very good job of using like the fine vibration of the controller.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. Like when you're running on a chocobo, you feel each footstep in the controller. It's very well done, but unfortunately, unless you're PS5 exclusive, no one gives a shit about your controller. Like Nintendo has the same features in the Joy-Con. They used exactly one game as a demo, 1-2 switch, and no one has ever tried to use like the fine 3D vibration features of the Joy-Con since then.
Yeah.
Because you can't port it over to a normal controller, so they don't bother. So it's kind of annoying, but Sony's really got to capitalize on this controller. It's like the vibration on it's phenomenal, and I just wish more games gave a shit about it and didn't just use the adaptive trigger resistance because that shit is just annoying. Anyway, new Monster Hunter. So they showed off the trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. While I'm excited to play this game, I think this has to be one of the worst trailers for a video game I've ever seen. They show off the new character models, and none of them are lip synced correctly, and the faces don't move well. But everyone's like, "Oh my god, look how pretty it is!" So I'm like, whatever. I'm not here for Monster Hunter for the cinematics. The quicker you can get me out of a cutscene, the better.
Yeah.
So they jump over to the hunting footage, and they're really trying to capitalize on the idea that in Monster Hunter Rise, like you would join a hunt, and then the monster was just there. Like you didn't have to actually hunt. There was no hunting in Rise. They were trying to really show off how much hunting there is, but it ended up making the trailer just a lot of wandering through nowhere with talking over
God.
it. But then also the second they encounter a monster, they want you to focus on the monster, not on you, the hunter. So they just have you run away from it in this trailer, and I'm just like, this is stupid. Show me some combat. And then they did very, how do I put it, reserved combat to try to like hide the big reveal that you can now wield a second weapon while you're riding your mount or whatever. So I don't know. The internet's very hyped about it. I'm very whelmed, but at the same time, I just want to play another Monster Hunter. These games are super fun, so I'm excited for it to come out at least. And I don't know if it's simultaneous release or if it's starting on PS5 first. It would kind of suck if it was PS5 only, but they did talk about the state of play. Let me double check this.
Yeah, I forgot. I totally forgot the state of play had happened.
Tyler
Well,
has
they gotta
too many
stop-
other
like,
games to play to even care
They
about
need
new
to
games.
stop announcing it 48 hours in advance. Like, give me a week.
Doesn't Nintendo do like 24 hours?
Yeah, and it sucks. I wish they would give us some advance notice.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh, never mind. I think it's on simultaneous release on Steam as well.
Okay.
All right, I'm probably gonna play this on PC then. Not gonna lie.
NGL.
And I don't think there's anything else crazy at the State of Play. Let me double check this. Listeners, wait for me to
The
Google
State of
this.
Play is not playing. It's okay though, guys. The Elden Ring DLC is coming to save the world. Save the city, Patrick.
Path of Exile 2 coming to PS5. Yeah, there was not that much.
Okay, whatever.
Marvel Rivals. Yeah, never mind. Let's get out of here. Let's talk about something else.
Let's get out of here, Freeman. You could definitely talk about this. This is your
All right, cool. Yeah, so
bread and butter.
Originally, I was going to save this for the what we played section, but Guild Wars decided that they just want to have every fucking announcement in the last 2 weeks. So for some context, Guild Wars 2 is an MMO that is still functioning in the current year. Came out in like what 2012, 2013. I've been playing it ever since launch. I'm still hopelessly addicted to this game. And starting last year, they changed their expansion model. It used to be every 2 to 3 years they do a full expansion, and they would do these smaller trickle releases throughout where the content was free, but it was kind of tied to the expansion you paid for. Starting with this year, they've moved to a new approach where the expansion costs half as much, but they're going to release an expansion every year, where in the fall it comes out, and then there are 3 quarterly content releases associated with that expansion. So 2 weeks ago, the final part of last fall's expansion, Secret of the Obscure, released. So it concluded this year's expansion. And they said, here's your teaser image for the next expansion. We'll be back later to talk about it. And then out of nowhere, they're like, surprise, guys, we're here with the release trailer. It's coming out in August. So with that, Secrets of the Obscure is wrapped. They showed off. They were hyping up, we have things that people have been asking for forever. And there was a huge argument on Reddit of, since they've given up underwater combat like 6 years ago, like, are they going to repurpose the underwater weapons for on land? Are they going to give us player housing? Or are they going to bring back raids? And they surprised us by saying, yeah, this expansion has all 3 of those. Thank you. We're checking off everything that people on Reddit complain about all the time. So please keep complaining, was their like message to the community. So everyone's generally pretty happy about this 5th expansion. ArenaNet as a whole has a tendency to introduce a new system with an expansion, not iterate on it, and then like 3 years later be like, hey guys, everyone hates the old version of Feature X. Let's just launch this new thing that's the same as the last one, and then just leave that old thing to rot. And we've sort of had player housing in the past. It was guild housing. And with this announcement, like, okay, cool. They're just ditching more dead content on this new treadmill experience of expansions. Either way, I'm overall a fan of this. I got into Guild Wars 2 because I didn't want to pay a annual subscription, and their current release model is $25 expansions every year. And the meat and potatoes of the game is still playable without any of these new expansions. So still a big fan of the model. I think it's a perfect time to get into Guild Wars 2. The last year's expansion before Secrets of the Obscure ended the big plotline that's been going on for the last 10 years. This expansion was sort of a little bit of a tie-up, and they've even said with the next one, they're trying to bring the story a lot, I'm going to say closer to home, but like they're not doing this grandiose multiverse shit they were trying to do in Secrets of the Obscure. It's going to be very much, here's this territory that we're going to explore that's been cut off from civilization. Go learn about it. So I think if anyone's ever been interested in Guild Wars 2, this is probably going to be a cool expansion to jump in on. But that's my little bit there about Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
Yeah, don't play.
Oh, that was a lot.
Don't get sucked into an MMO.
I'm not gonna.
Freeman, the flip side of this is we were just talking about how Final Fantasy 14 is saving Squeenix, so you know, it's people like you who are keeping Square Enix alive.
Bro, I'm paying this company $25 a year. I don't even know how much a sub to Final Fantasy 14
$25
costs.
a year.
I'm actually curious. How much does Final Fantasy 14 cost monthly? $13. For 2 months of Final Fantasy 14, I can get a whole expansion for Guild Wars. Something return on investment.
Oh no. Just
I don't know,
totally unrelated, but I just opened IGN to make sure we weren't missing any news. Reviews have started coming in for Star Wars: The Acolyte.
Oh, that's come out.
IGN gave it a 6. So if
They gave it a 6 out of 6? No way.
So if IGN gave it a 6, it's probably not very good. Or as Henry would say, very good, but not
very good.
Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I just saw that headline and I was like, wow, a show I'm not going to watch, but Tyler and Michelle will. So we'll hear how it is from Tyler soon.
Yeah, I was like, we were thinking of giving it a shot just because. It's
So
not like we have any new
remotely
shows to
entertaining.
watch.
No.
Dude.
Tyler,
Like,
I'm not flaming you for it. It's just funny that I called it.
yeah, true. True.
Tyler, but there's actually some good anime you could catch up on. Though sadly, that's not.
Is there?
What do you mean?
What shows do you recommend Tyler be catching up on?
I mean, Tyler could catch up on My Hero. It's pretty good right now.
All right, that's not a false statement.
See, it wasn't.
Honestly, I keep forgetting that anime is a thing because it's just not as easily accessible to me anymore.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I have to watch it on my computer, which I'm barely at, honestly. And if I'm here, I'm playing video games.
All right, that inspired me. The next song going on the soundboard is the One Piece Yayo opening every time we talk about piracy.
Oh God.
All right. Speaking
That's true. Like, I wish.
No, that's fair. But speaking of piracy, also known as land pirates in Japan, the Yakuza. Okay, that was a real stretch.
I thought we were missing a topic on the
I
sheet
was
here
trying
for a
to get
second.
to Yakuza from pirates.
Yeah, so I think this was early in the week. Amazon announced that we're getting a Yakuza live-action television series in October.
Is the worst idea humanly possible.
All I could think
Terrible
of when I read
decision.
this announcement was like, they couldn't just like license any other like show about Yakuza because that's just what this is. But no, it's like Kiryu's the protagonist. It seems like it's gonna follow the plot line.
No, dude, this is such a bad idea.
I'm not sure who asked for this.
So stupid.
Because in order to truly be Yakuza, it's got to be goofy as fuck. And I don't know if Amazon's general viewing audience is gonna understand this.
The juxtaposition of how batshit ridiculous the Yakuza world is with how totally serious it is to everyone in it is one of the best things about Yakuza.
I don't know if they're going to translate that well to a show.
There's no chance. There's a 0% chance that that's going to translate well. Like, okay, there's a 1% chance because Fallout went really well. So someone somewhere knows how to make a good video game adaptation, but like Yakuza is so built on being like, I'm doing the crazy story. There's a fucking murder mystery. Who killed the head of the Tojo for the 20th time? And Yakiryu's to blame for the 10th time, but somehow we got to prove his innocence. And then you go next door and it's like, oh, hey, there's like a cult. We got this mom's daughter joined a cult. We got to do goofy mini games to join the cult and kill and punch the shit out of the cult leader. Like, what? There's no way to make that work.
Like, hopefully they can figure out some way to nail this tongue-in-cheekiness without it just being stupid, but I really doubt they're going to be able to do it.
They need to have a man on... You know what they need? They need, like, in Matrix 2, when Neo fights the Agent Smiths in that courtyard, they need to have shit like that, because Kiryu must... No, what I was going to say is they need to have Kiryu punch people so hard they look dead, and then after they're all knocked down, they all start groaning and moving around. But so they're clearly alive, even though they shouldn't be. They need to all... Like, he needs to take a baseball bat and, like, smash a guy's head in, and then he just falls over and he's okay, but he's alive. He's not dead. Like, that's what they need.
Does this need like the tone of like Kick-Ass or something? Is that what we need here?
No, because Kick-Ass knows it's bullshit. Like Kick-Ass, the people in Kick-Ass genuinely think they can be heroes, but the world doesn't think they're a real hero for most of it.
Yeah.
Like Yakuza, everyone is on the same bullshit wavelength about how ridiculous it is. Freeman, you started Yakuza 0, right?
Yeah, I'm like 3 chapters into Yakuza 0. I've beaten the first boss.
That's it?
I have. Look, man. I've got like 4 JRPGs I have to play.
I thought I remembered you were way further.
That's like years. That's like years of my life is getting eaten up by this.
Oh, man, there's so much. Like even just in Yakuza 0, and then 1 and 2. Like there's so many betrayals. There's so much stuff. There's so many things where it's like, how are there even this many people in Tokyo for Kiryu and Majima to beat up? The fucking Yakuza Kiwami, the remake of the first game, has a system called the Majima Everywhere system, where your main, like, your Vegeta character to Kiryu pops out of manholes and pretends to be a police officer to fight you in the street, but also the whole game is a fucking murder mystery about who killed the head of the Tojo clan. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so goofy. And you can't... How do you recreate that?
That said, I am definitely going to watch episode 1. I'm going to treat this the same way I did
I want to watch...
Fallout and be like, I just want to see what they're doing about the tone.
I want to sit and us watch it. Even if Tyler is like, this is too stupid for me, Freeman, I think we should sit and watch this.
All right, we'll make it an event when it comes out. Listeners, get ready for that
I'm down to
topic.
watch this. I'm down to try it, and I'm so ready to be judgy of this, but you're right. I am curious of what the fuck is this going to be like.
Like, I need to know what they were thinking when they said we're going to do this.
I don't... Honestly, so, not to go back to the video game thing, but Yakuza is like... I would argue that Yakuza is like gaining better and better and better name recognition every year when they come out with a new one, and like Final Fantasy isn't as much gaining ground as Yakuza is.
I hated him because he said the truth. All right, keep going. I gotta step away for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Word.
Oh, Tyler, did you put this one up? This one's a spicy one.
Oh yeah, fucking yeah. We probably should have like, grouped it in with the Sony State of Play. See, I'm pretty sure they put the State of Play up because they were like, yo, everybody hates what we're gonna do, and that's requiring everybody to have PSN accounts even for single player games.
Yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima came to Steam recently. Oh, look, it needs a PSN account. And then I think at the State of Play, Sony announced God of War Ragnarok coming to Steam.
Yep.
And then in the announcement, they're like, by the way, you still need a PSN account to play God of War Ragnarok. And it's like...
Yep.
It's like, why? It's... You know,
it's bad.
It's so frustrating because on one, you know what's funny? If video game companies used this power for good, if you got anything out of this, people would be like, okay. Or if it was optional, people would be like, okay, it's fine. Like, remember the days, Tyler, of like, if you signed up for our account for like Dragon Age Origins or something for like an EA account, you got a free armor set, shit like that. Remember those days on like the 360 and PS3? And now it's like, oh, just sign up because you fucking have
stuff.
to, bitch. Like you don't have a choice here.
Yeah.
Sign up for our account so that we can track whatever you're doing, so that we can say we got 20,000 new accounts today. Whoop-de-doo. They're not paying us any money, but they exist, so we can collect data on these people. And it's like, fuck you.
It's some really scummy shit that I'm not a fan of. And it's not like they're slick about it either.
No.
Right? It's like I wish and they came out with some kind of bullshit excuse, right? Like, what was it? To continue to make I guess a more consistent player experience, right? Like safe player experience for everybody. Like, please. We know that this is not what it's all about. It's everything has everything to do with what you just said, Tim. It's like, to keep track and to, tell investors and everybody else, like, oh, hey, look, we did, like, this is what we got going today. Like, it's just really annoying.
Yeah.
For like
I
online,
hate it.
If it was like an online competitive game, I could 100% being like, yeah, we want to be able to truly ban people from playing the game. That would make sense, but it just doesn't. I don't get it for single player. Like I sort of got it for Helldivers. Like if there was a way that you could truly grief other players in Helldivers, I would understand wanting a way to like really ban someone. But like that was kind of whatever. But to do it for like God of War, because I think it's God of War that needs it, right?
Yeah, we talked about it while you were gone. God of
War and Ghost of Tsushima. They're like,
fucking why?
Which is like, okay, it has a multiplayer, right? Like Ghost of Tsushima has a multiplayer. It's like, okay. Sure.
It couldn't just be like every time you try to do the multiplayer part, it's like, hey, you need to sign into PSN to use this feature.
Yeah,
Nope.
right. It could at least do that, right? But no, like we need to have it for single player games because that makes sense. You know,
It
I don't
reminds
know.
me so much of when the Xbox One got announced, and they're like, we're online all the time, and everyone's like, fucking why? It has
Yeah.
the same energy as this decision.
What's crazy though about this is that there literally is no good reason. I mean, there was no good reason for that either, and there still really isn't a good reason in my opinion. Like if you have something, you should just have it, and that's it, right? But like they really came out with like no good reason as to why they needed to make this switch,
Because
and
it doesn't
it's
exist.
super, yeah, it's super scummy, and I hate it. I hate it. And yeah, like I don't know. That's really all I have to say about this in particular, which is really hilarious because I think PlayStation, it's funny, like I think they've helped revitalize AAA like single player games.
Mm-hmm.
Like the revival of like since we had the whole thing with the mobile games of like our mobile games are going to be the new games, like
Mm-hmm.
we had games like, God of War come out that did super duper well. And it kind of revitalized a lot of people's faith in like the AAA single player games, like there's still a place for this, right?
Yep.
Even with like all their other titles. Like I think PlayStation really kind of helped like bring that back, and
Oh
now they're
yeah.
doing shit like this. They got in everybody's good graces, and now like within the last year or two, they've been doing shit like this, and
Just lose
I just
everyone's
don't get it.
trust.
So frustrating.
Yeah,
So frustrating.
it really is. So
Really grinds my gears.
whatever.
But like,
No, it really
it's
grinds my gear.
it's just like I'm gonna just say, like, I'm pretty sure the reason they do this is because some businessman is like, we need to show that PSN is growing, blah blah blah. We need to show infinite growth, but also like, what's everybody gonna do? Pirate the game?
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't gonna do that. Some people might not buy it. A lot of people are probably gonna buy it and just sign up. They know they
Yeah.
can get
Is
away
this
with it.
really? Is it an anti-piracy measure?
No, 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 no. I'm saying people. What are the options if I don't like this, but I want to play God of War? I either just do it anyway or I pirate the game. A lot of people are going to choose either not buying it at all and not playing it or buying it and dealing with it. Not a lot of people are going to turn to piracy right now. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They know they can get away with it because who's going to like, is it going to affect the bottom line? No, but it's also going to say, "Oh, investors, we got 20 million people to sign up for PSN accounts by playing Ghost of Tsushima."
Yeah. It's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this whole thing's annoying.
But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's just like it's super scummy. I hate it. There's personally no reason for it, but I don't know. People are not gonna vote for their wallets anyway. I mean, I could say one thing, one thing I could say for it is like in Helldiver's example, right? It's like okay, um,
Crossplay?
but they had the anti cheat. Now I'm thinking about it, they had the anti cheat, right? Where it's like okay, we need to verify that all of your files are within compliance because you're playing with people who don't have that capability of like modding or like, like
Yeah.
it's easier to adjust files. I can see having the anti-cheat. But Halo, the Master Chief Collection has that. They have literally like the two versions of like, hey, you can either play multiplayer or you can play with mods. And with that, funny enough, I think actually I have to double check this, but I think you're allowed to play that game without an Xbox Live account.
Wow.
But of course you wouldn't have to play multiplayer. I
Hmm.
gotta double check that though. I feel like you can. If not, then whatever. Yeah. Fuck this.
I take back what I said at the beginning. This is all just bad video game industry news.
Yeah. Oops, all bad.
Oops, all bad.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah, this is literally
you
just
know what?
all bad.
You know what? Actually, I'll swap after this. There's a tiny breaking headline again, but let's do this first because my thing ties to the next thing.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So I didn't know where to put it. I don't know if I should do this during the played section, but I'm gonna do the Final Fantasy VII update till I beat this game because I'm still making consistent progress. When we left off last week, I'm on chapter 13 of 20, and the game unlocks like 50 new side quests. And I'm getting through them. I'm going through every single Queen's Blood tournament thing I can do until I finally get to the final quest for Queen's Blood. This is the hardest card game match I've had in this game. I'm getting my ass handed to me. So I look online and I say, all right, well, like, what decks are people using to beat them? And it's just filled with cards that you, air quotes, can't get until the post game. So I'm sitting here like, oh, so this quest is just like not meant to be beatable when they introduce it to you. Cool, I guess. Let me do the rest of the side quests. So I do the rest of the side quests. I'm this close to 100%ing it, thinking this is definitely going to get me a gold trophy, right? Nah. Doing all the side quests in the game gets you a bronze trophy. And in order to get all of them, once you complete every single quest in the game, one final quest unlocks at the gold saucer. And it's this dude who says, hey, you need to beat my high score on all 6 minigames at the gold saucer, introducing the new hard mode. Go beat them. And I just looked at this, and I was like, no. I give up. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing the final quest.
Finish line just swerved off the line.
I'm like, they can't trick me into playing every single minigame again, except this time it's harder. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. There's one last thing I can do, because every time I try to go to the next story thing, it's like, you will not be able to return. Make sure you do anything you want to do now. So, Tyler, you know there's the whole proto-relic thing on every map?
Unfortunately, yes.
So I went and I did all of them, even though most of them are annoying as fuck. And then I finally get to like the last island where you meet Gilgamesh, and he's like, "All right, you got to do these last three like boss run challenges, and then you can fight me." So I go to do the first boss run, and like up until this point, some of the harder fights have been if you try to get the summon materia without like weakening them at all, you just fight them at full power. These fights are tricky. I go to the first boss fight, it's 2 summons at the same time. And I was like, Jesus Christ. So I get through the first one, like, this was hard. I'm like, how many more? There's 2 more like this? I'm like, all right, if these are the prelude fights, how tough is he supposed to be? And I look online. They're like, yeah, the recommended minimum level for fighting this dude is level 78. And I'm pausing, like, 78? I'm over leveled right now, and I'm at level 48. So why the fuck did they make this available to me if this is a post-game quest? So I've dropped out of 2 out of the 3 remaining quests because they're very clearly meant to be post-game quests given to me before the point of no return, even though it's horseshit and I get to come back afterwards anyway to do these quests. So I'm just mad. I go to the next quest where it says, you know, you will not be able to turn back. Do you want to continue? And I pause and I ask myself, do I want to continue? Unfortunately, I said yes. I'm still playing through this game. And I got to the Temple of the Ancients, where the whole time I'm playing, like, they better have done the soundtrack justice. The song is one of the like best songs from the OG game, and I finally heard the remix they did for it, and it holds up. So at this point, I'm done with side quests. I'm blitzing main story until I'm done with this. So I'm expecting I'll be done with it. If not by the next episode, by episode 185, I will be done with this. And move on to Persona 3 probably.
Yeah, I'm my update is I'm playing every other game while not playing Final Fantasy.
What, you mean my story's not convincing you to play this game?
Oh man! Every time we talk about it, because I checked in with Freeman the other day before the podcast. I'm like, yo, how are you coming along with this? And in short, he was just like, I am, but it's also not. Basically, this.
It's so annoying.
This game is annoying. This game, and the only thing that's honestly keeping me going is
Tifa.
just like the story. Like that's really it. I don't know, like not the mini game stuff, but like the actual overall story. Like I want to see how it turns out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because like I like the combat, I like the graphics, I love the music. The music in this game is phenomenal.
Yeah, the
But good lord, I don't know. Like, not only did they feel they needed to pad to justify the third game, they padded so hard that it doesn't even justify this game.
Yeah, Dude, I ain't got it in me, man. I got. It's hard.
Man,
It's
the
really
fact that I
hard.
played Persona 5 a second time shows that I can brute force any of these games, but good lord, I'm not enjoying this as much as I should be.
You know, I was talking to someone recently where it's like stuff that I like, stuff that I'll tolerate. Cause like he was like, cause we were, I'm playing. Stupid aside, so I put on all of the Resident Evil games as background noise for the last couple weeks. Right? They're just playing in the background. And so like my coworker and I just like comment on it. And I forget which we were on, and he was like, "Oh, like Code Veronica." He's like, "Yo, Code Veronica's like hard." I heard, and I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You beat it?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I beat it twice." And he's like, "Wait, why did you beat that game, but you didn't want to beat the Souls games?" I'm like, that's a good question. I think I just like these games more, and I just don't
They're
like
fun.
Souls games. Like, I'm willing to put up with how hard something is if I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if it's something that I just don't like or just have no passion for, then I just don't even want to do it. I feel like that's simple, and I'm kind of feeling that way with this. Like, if there, I guess there's an. I'm like consider on turning it down to easy, honestly, and just breezing through it
Ooh.
for the
Honestly,
story.
I this isn't really a spoiler, but in remake part 1, there's this one bit where you fight Rufus Shinra, and he's like the most bullshit fight in the game because you have to very specifically hit him during very limited windows after he has run away from you, and you are not a ranged fighter. So you have to time everything perfectly, and if you miss that window, he counterattacks you for a quarter of your health. It's like the
Yes.
dumbest fight. It's the only one that has this mechanic, and they thought it'd be a great fucking idea to bring that fight back for this one at the end of a boss rush.
Oh, amazing.
So if you want to have to change your gear layout for this one-on-one duel you're gonna have, you have to back out and redo the last 3 fights with Cloud using this botched setup because you're gonna fight Rufus at the end of it. And it's like who playtested this and said, I had so much fun at this part of the game. Like who enjoyed it? Because him being there was entirely optional. Like they had to make this choice. It's all just so
Understood.
frustrating.
Yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be my least favorite game of the entire year so far, which I never thought I would say.
Man, I'm just
If I told 8th grade Tyler this after he watched that tech demo, his heart would shatter. But it's true.
yeah, if young me knew that I would say, "Hey man, you're gonna enjoy playing Spider-Man more than Final Fantasy VII Remake," I would be like, "What happened to you? Where'd this normie
Yeah,
come from?"
where'd this normie come from? And then I'd put my hand on his shoulder and be like, only time will
You always
tell.
were.
And then I'll disappear. What does it mean? And then he would wake up in a cold sweat every day, wondering what I mean by that.
Just dreading the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah,
All right, it sucks, but let's move on.
yeah.
So,
Wait, are we keeping these? Are we actually keeping these?
Let's
it's
keep them.
on. Well, I was gonna say we're already at almost an hour. I think it's better to just move on to the go into Japan, just because
We can.
All right,
it's
we'll hold off on these mini topics for next
yeah.
week. When
But I do
we
want
need
to
fill some
say
space.
before we jump, while we're on our way to Japan, we have to cross the ocean. And what's in the ocean? Godzilla's in the ocean. Speaking of which, Godzilla.
Wow.
God, I wish I had the Godzilla
Wow.
sound effect right now. I miss the old
No,
soundboard.
the reason I bring this up is the headline that I was reading on Reddit was Godzilla minus one came out either today or yesterday on Netflix and iTunes, and within that day was the #1 movie on both platforms, which is like a new record or a new thing that hasn't happened in quite a long time, where it came out on both and was #1 on both. Yeah, if you open
Good.
Netflix right now on your browser, it says #1 in movies today. So, for all the talking we talked about this show or this movie, please go watch Godzilla minus one on Netflix. It is worldwide. It's
Very
not just like
good.
in Japan or something. It's on Netflix US. I kind of want to rewatch it. I'll certainly boot it up and just watch some of the scenes again. But yeah, this show is absolutely incredible. Why do I keep calling it a show? I'm not an
Yeah.
old person. Movie. It's
Oh
because
no.
I'm looking at the Netflix
This movie
homepage.
is showing.
No, I'm looking at the Netflix homepage, and
Oh,
everything
you're an
else is
old
shows.
man.
Everything else is
You're an
shows.
old
So my
man.
brain goes, "Oh, I'm looking at
You're gonna
Stranger
start
Things
calling
icon
soda
show."
pop.
Shut the
You
fuck.
fucking old man.
Godzilla -1
Or
is
calling
great.
it pop.
Freeman, we made it to Japan.
Oh shit! That means it's time for the Weeb shit. There's some news this week. The first and probably the biggest one. Tim, you're gonna love this. Mashal had a new season. Mashal had a new season announced. But the thing that kind of got like brushed under the rug, because I don't think it was on the English website. It's only on the Japanese website. Is that the project has been rebranded as a full series adaptation? For anyone out of the loop,
No, okay, I'm done.
for anyone out of the loop,
God.
the Mashal manga is over. So the fact that they're committing to the full adaptation,
Wonderful.
look, I'm not a Mashal fan, but I can say I'm happy that they're doing this. I want it to be more common for them to do full series adaptations, especially
Please.
when they're selling well. So, congrats
Look
to
at
Mashal fans.
Freeman.
You got it.
Freeman, look at, I think the real trailblazer here that we should give a lot of credit to is a show that you, Tyler, and Luigi are very fond of that is still going despite being over.
No, Quintessential Quintuplets is not something to be praised.
No.
Anime
It's not.
original
Not like this.
content.
I'm
original
not even
content.
acknowledging this other.
The honeymoon
quintessential
stuff that's gonna
Quintuplets.
come out.
You can do a full adaptation, but for the love of God, you have to do it chronologically and not milk it. Those are the two criteria.
Yeah, like nah, man. I'm good.
I just quintessential quintuplets is always the funniest thing for me, and like it is actually over, but it prints too much money in Japan for them to stop coming up with new stuff.
Yeah,
So-
they shouldn't have made waifus too cute, bro.
Freeman,
So,
it's
on
in that
on the
calendar
topic of
on
waifus-
Reddit. Every single month, it's in that calendar on Reddit that someone.
I know, it's insane.
It's so
On the topic
funny.
of waifus, though, the only reason they wheel out new seasons of ReZero is to sell Rem merch, which is fucking hilarious, because Rem wasn't in last season, and spoiler alert, she's not going to be in the next season either.
Oh
but
my
they-
fucking
Damn.
god!
But the Rem merch is unreal.
When is the author
Are you
like?
still
I have
watching
to.
it though?
Am I still watching? Yeah, I actually do
Yeah.
want to rewatch a little bit of season 2 to remember where they're leaving off, because listeners, since we're in the Weeb shit, I can talk about it. Last season was very much an isolated side story. There was a lot of character development for Amelia, but the next story arc is about the fight between the different candidates for who's going to be the leader of the nation. And we still have to deal with the fact that it's not a whale anymore. One of the what are they called? They're not witches of sin. They're
The seven
Once-
deadly sins.
no, like the disciples, like Betelgeuse.
Oh,
I forget
yeah.
what they're called.
Yeah.
But point is, one of them wiped the memory of the person who was most likely to become the leader, and she's still in the running. So if this arc might be interesting depending on how they go with it, but they gotta balance out the whole Subaru dying versus okay, we've invested too much in the arc, Subaru can't die now. Like they have to figure out a fun balance because the last arc, Subaru has a bunch of really rough deaths, and then 11 episodes in, he stops dying, which kind of killed the novelty of the show, to be honest. Anyway, I'm excited for it. I think they can come back from season 2.
Tyler, do you think you and Val are ever gonna watch this?
Nope. I honestly
No,
forget
you-
that show exists.
You guys have to get through season 2, and honestly, season 2 is pretty meh. All things
I'll tell you
considered.
what, Freeman. This is one of the first times I've admitted this. So the last time I was this confused about a plot was the Chronicles of Riddick, and over some point, I figured it out. Like I don't know if I was too young, too stupid, too something to understand it, but I didn't understand it. It took me until I rewatched those movies in high school, maybe college, to understand what Chronicles was about. I feel that way now. I don't get what the fuck is happening. Like Val and I watched it, and I'm just like, I have zero clue what is happening.
Do you
I am
you
lost.
want me to do a Giga explaining the Fate franchise style explanation for you guys of what's going on in ReZero right now?
Absolutely not.
Good, because I can't really explain to you what the fuck Rosewall was doing all of last season.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know. I don't get his thing. I don't get his game. And like I'm sitting here, and I don't know if Val, because Val seemed confused too, but I don't know if she's as confused as I was. She was probably following it much better than me.
Is this when I need to get her to be a guest appearance on the?
Well,
Oh,
because
what? So
it's been
she
like
can
it's
Just
been
have
like
her
five
say
sit
the
her
years.
down and be like,
marginal
"I was
amount of
confused."
things that
Yeah.
she remembers more than me.
It's
Okay.
been like 5 years since season 2. I don't remember a good chunk of it.
Yeah, but like as we were actively watching it, we had. All right, I can't say we. I can't definitively say we. I had no idea. I had zero clue. I'm just like, okay, white rabbits. Okay, these things are super evil and they ate everybody. What is Rose? What is this clown doing? What like what?
But do you actually want me to explain, or this is just a rhetorical?
No,
These
this
are things
is a
you didn't get.
rhetorical me like saying it in the past. Like, yeah, no, I lost interest in the show after season 2.
Okay,
Sorry.
entirely understandable. Season 2 wasn't good.
I would rather watch Made in Abyss. I need to watch that show instead.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't
Anyway.
need to hear about the Subaru's fucking V6 and whatever.
You don't want to watch
The
Subaru
Subaru
Forester
hatchback.
run off a ledge and then wake up 2 days ago? Anyway,
No.
in terms of more announcements, Sakamoto Days. This is one of the Shonen Jump manga that I've been hearing a lot about. I believe it's a comedy. The plot is the world's greatest assassin settles down, starts a family. He goes from being mega attractive to being this kind of like fat looking guy, but occasionally that work still comes into his life, and he's got to pick up his gun again. And they announced the main character is gonna be voiced by Tomokazu Sugita. You guys know him as Rudius's internal monologue voice in
Oh boy.
Mushoku Tensei. So
I
they
don't
got a
want
goat
to. I don't
VA
want
for
to know
this.
him as that.
Okay, well he's in a lot of other shows. I'm just
No,
drawing
no,
a
no.
blank.
No, Freeman. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I don't like him. I'm saying like, I've said before on here, like I wish Rudius's internal monologue would stop being his.
All right, fine. He plays arguably the best JoJo, the JoJo from Part 2.
Okay.
Make this
He
better.
plays the best JoJo.
But that one's going to be good. I believe that's coming out later this year. And then the last thing was that Hero Academia, which it felt like years ago they said it was ending, and I had to look this up when my
Yes.
friend mentioned like it's over, and I looked it up and it was winter 2021 at Jump Fiesta. He said, "Yeah, we're entering the end of the manga."
Oh my god.
What he meant to say is
3 years ago.
what he meant to say is I'm starting the last arc, but I'm also starting the largest arc of the franchise. Is what he was trying to say, but didn't word it well at all. So they finally concluded the main big bad arc, and then the chapter ended with returning next week with the beginning of the epilogue chapters. But it sounds like there's going to be several epilogue chapters at this point. The author went on to do like a mini interview, and he said like, we still got some time left with our cast. We got to get back to what the series title's all about. I'm
Oh
like,
my god.
they're going back to school then. Okay, fine. So it's ending ish, maybe soon. 2026, it'll definitely be over. We'll find out. But that is it for the week shit.
I gotta say, Friedman, did you watch this week's My Hero?
I haven't. I wasn't able to meet up with my other friend group because my mom had COVID and they were absolutely terrified of me being a carrier around their
Freeman,
infant.
you don't have to give any reason. We've heard so many times.
But now I'm also
I wasn't able to watch,
and
you're always like, Freeman, did you watch this anime? If it's tied to your other friend group, no, we weren't able to watch. Okay, that's fine. You can just say it was the other friend group anime.
Look, I've only tied 2 of the biggest shonen franchises of the season to them for some reason.
Yeah, Demon Slayer was pretty alright. My Hero's pretty alright. I was gonna make a comment, but I don't want to say it because it won't
Might
spoil
spoil
any. It's not really a spoiler, but it's like whatever. Yay, we did the weeb shit. Wow, wow, the sound effect.
Oh.
Wow. There it is. Man, this is amazing. None of us really watched or played much of anything or finished anything because Freeman and I are both just working through anime mostly. I realized on Letterboxd, this movie that we're about to talk about, this is the first movie I have watched since April. Since the beginning of April. I have not watched a feature-length film since the beginning of April.
When you said since April, I was like, this is an odd way to just say I didn't go to the movies in May.
Freeman, I'm saying not even at
Oh,
home.
you mean watch a
Like
movie?
not
Oh
even
wait,
in my house on my phone or on my computer or on my TV. I have
wait, none
not
at all.
I have not watched a film since the beginning of April.
Man, you and Val are never gonna finish that poster.
No, probably not. But not on the poster. The boys who got us into volleyball, Haikyuu, the dumpster battle, the battle for the dumpster between.
Haikyuu the dumpster
No,
battle.
all right,
Damn.
Listeners
Tyler,
who don't
that's
watch
that's the
Haikyuu,
name. I'm not making fun of
Wait,
it.
what?
in universe, this is the nickname for this fight was a school whose their mascot is the Crows versus the Cats, and the ideology is the only time these two teams would ever fight off, like these two animals would fight off, is like
Oh my god.
is over trash in a dumpster. But it's been like a joke because these teams are both from different parts of Japan, so the only place they'd ever meet is at like the regional semifinal or quarterfinals.
Nationals.
Just at the national tournament, and they've never had a year where both were good enough to meet each other. So it's been this legendary, like, oh, is the dumpster battle going to happen this year? And this is the first time in the history of the in-universe franchise that the
I don't know if
dumpster
it's in the
battle's
history.
occurring.
I think it's just been a long time. But either way, it's still.
No, it's they never have. They've never faced each other at the national tournament.
But somehow there was this rivalry between the coach of
Two
the
coaches
other
when they were
team and the
playing.
retired coach of the current team. I don't know. Whatever.
Regardless, this is one of the bigger matches of the franchise. That they've been
also,
hyping
this
up
is the first
forever.
time we've seen Haikyuu in like 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute since the last season. I straight up forgot what was going on, as we were walking to the theater.
Freeman was like, I think the night before, Freeman was like, so where were we at with this? When is this match taking place? I'm like, it's still at I thought it was a flashback, but no, this is still in the national running. What'd you think, Freeman?
I gotta say, I enjoyed the format of this. So, like, I told you and Val about this after the movie, but like with season 3 of Haikyuu, it was a shorter season because they just had this one extended match versus a big bad, and they had to like pad it out a decent amount to fit a full season. Whereas in order to do a game like this, you only really needed the movie length. So I thought it was really good. I went in concerned that the team didn't feel like they had a player who was terrifying. Every other season, there's always that one all-star player who's very clearly meant to be the villain of the team, and they may back off and bring in like another character to be the sub-villain for part of the match before the big villain is still like dumpsters them. And then going into this one, no one on the team is really stand out, and even the main character's rival is the most like nonchalant character in the world.
He's not. Well, he's not a bombastic big presence as a player. He's just super smart and like subtly influences the rest of his team.
Yes, the way they slowly make him become this almost evil mastermind of the game was very well done in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like by the time they show his big scene where he's just like the trap him in the cage scene, I was like, all right, I'm impressed. They made this guy who I was like, there's no way he's going to be an entertaining villain. To I'm like thrilled with how they portrayed him. And then I'll just close out with the animation quality of this. That for the first 20 minutes of the movie, it was like this. It felt like we were just watching the anime. Like there was nothing too special to write home about. About 3/4 through the game, they did this one bit where the camera guy just put the camera on a balloon, and just started letting it float around. So the animation got a little smooth in some places, but there was a lot of motion for a couple of plays. And then the closing shot of the game, they made a very interesting creative decision to do the entire shot as a POV shot of the main villain. So he's watching this very high intensity rally going on around him, and he's exhausted, so he's having trouble keeping up with it. And it felt so claustrophobic, but it was 100% intentional to make you feel as stressed as any player would be in that kind of, high speed, high intensity rally for the last point. So overall I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of glad at this point they're doing the last 3 big games as this movie series, because as from what I can tell, there's not really a lot of story between the games to close out Haikyuu. So I think after seeing this, I'm happy with the format.
I think the thing is, outside of like moment-to-moment gameplay, there is no character development in this show, really. Like, we used to have occasionally, like at the beginning of the show in the first few seasons, it's like, oh, Hinata's like, and him and Kageyama, like, they're really working it out, and it's like, there's minor developments over the course of a game now, but really there's not like, wow, a whole new thing coming around every time.
Yeah.
I will say, I agree with Freeman overall. I think the movie was I liked that the theme of the movie felt like fun. The whole idea was, one of the big revelations is the main villain realizes that he's been blasé about volleyball, but actually he really loves it when it's good. And it was it's fun to have like a movie where the message is having fun with things. Like, even if you don't realize it, you probably are still keep doing things because you actually enjoy them. And him like realizing that he likes volleyball instead of just being blasé about it was a fun character bit. I will say I was looking for a little more actual volleyball. There is a lot of talking in this movie.
They just jump ahead on points a fuck ton.
And yeah, points just like some of the seasons, like some of the matches in earlier seasons was like every point was fought over. And you
like,
could
I think match 2 opens with the score being 14-12 or something, and it's a race to 25. Like they very much skip a lot.
Okay, let me put it this way, Tyler. You know how Freeman mentioned this final POV shot when the game ends?
Mm-hmm.
Freeman and I and Val were talking after the movie, and all of us were like, I did not realize that was the last point of the game.
I thought it was a 5-set match, but all the arcs before this have been 5-set matches, and for some reason this one's a 3-set match, and
I think we just forgot. I think we just forgot. I legitimately think we just forgot how many sets there are. But either way, we were like, oh, this is a really cool shot, and then everyone's like, that was a good game, and it's like, is the game over? Did the game just end? We didn't even realize this. So I do like the movie format, but I hope they use it to, like, I want it to be a little longer, or because this team had such an emotional connection, like this guy had a connection with Hinata more than a lot of other characters. I'm really hoping that like there's more volleyball in the next few. Because there's less connection.
I don't know if this is a spoiler. I'm just purely speculating, but just given that the next arc is who's the real best shortest player on the court, which I'm a little annoyed because this is the exact same plot line of the last arc of Kuroko's basketball about who's the more invisible player.
Oh my God.
This is very much going to be a Hinata versus the opponent psychological warfare battle. So I'm hoping we see more cool volleyball shit where they both try to differentiate themselves as being a better player. So hopefully we get some better plays out of it.
Yeah, but overall, like I said, was a fun time. Was cool to see on screen. Like Freeman said, the POV shot was really cool, and there was some really good animation. Like that slide move of Hinata's. Freeman, he just like gets up, hits it, and just slides down like a bit like this super slick, like almost action slide move. That was really cool.
There were a lot of really good plays, scenes, actions.
There's also a really, Tyler, this might be, you might get what I mean by this. You know how in shows a lot, especially in anime, like there's usually just a thing on TV that's like stick figures?
Yes.
In this, there's a character in this movie that's watching the game on TV, but they really went out of their way to like show what actually watching it is like, where it's not like the players being like, "Gah, I'm thinking, so I'm in frozen time space. Gah, I'm thinking because I'm in frozen." Like, no, there's like, here's this character is watching TV and it's just like, bink, 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 done.
It's the same way you would see it on broadcast television.
Yeah, and it has the same speed, and they really went out of their... But it looks like a really real, intense rally, so it's like, instead of the animation being super smooth and fluid, it's like, no, that guy moved there, okay, he hit it up, okay, that guy's hitting it up, okay, it's only up from the air for like a quarter second, and then spike, and then, okay, they blocked it. Like, it was I really enjoyed that sequence, Freeman, where they really made it feel like a real TV program was being seen on the screen.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, there was a lot of care put in this movie.
Yeah, they definitely... instead of a lot of generic action shots, there was a few very, very... not stylish in terms of, like, animation style, but, like, interesting ways to shoot a volleyball game kind of shots.
I only have one real grievance about this movie.
Wait, I want to hear what Tyler was going to say first before we...
No, it was just a stupid joke saying, like, oh, so despite the name of it being a dumpster battle, it wasn't a dumpster fire.
No, it definitely wasn't. What were you gonna say, Freeman?
That's
I would say my only grievance with this, and it's the problem, it's the rule of anime. That you have to say the name of your special attack or it doesn't work. Anytime either team decides they're going to use a synchronized attack against their opponent, every member of the team has to, in unison, use the phrase synchronized attack.
Synchro-geki,
And it was the problem was both teams used it a lot this game
my
to the point
God.
where, like, by the second game, I'm like, don't tell me. I can tell when all of you run at the net
Just
what you're
show
about
them
to
all
do.
running. We'll understand
Yeah,
what's
like
happening.
we can
Shut
figure it
up.
out. I'm not a moron. So, like, that was it. Like, you didn't need to explain to me how the Kamehameha wave works. Just do it.
Tyler,
but yeah, that was the only real problem.
we've done plenty of talking. Why don't you give us the triple threat?
Oh yeah, so I went to Arizona recently, and while I was there, on the way back, and while I was there, I watched movies.
I watched
Because I was
movies.
like, I need to kill time, and I don't know, we had like a whole thing. So on the way there, I watched this movie called Land of Bad. It's a shitty title, but the movie was actually solid. It's actually really weird. It's like the concept is interesting. It's about this JTAC guy. So basically, a dude
Wait.
who's like embedded. What?
No, I was gonna say, Tyler, since you're doing a triple threat, I'm on Letterboxd looking at your reviews. Can I read the description of the movie and then you say if it's actually kind of accurate or not from Letterboxd?
You know what? Yeah.
I figured this is a fun test, so let's see.
When you
Since
say
you've
no,
seen
it's
these.
not accurate, you can tell us what it's actually about.
No man left
Yeah,
behind. When a Delta Force special ops mission goes terribly wrong, Air Force drone pilot Reaper has 48 hours to remedy what has developed. Oh, my screen turned off. Into a wild rescue operation with no weapons and no communication other than the drone above. The ground mission suddenly becomes a full-scale battle when the team is discovered by the enemy.
Yeah, that's accurate. Though my only thing about it is that the drone pilot is Russell Crowe's character. I feel like they emphasize Russell Crowe's character more in that description than Liam Hemsworth, who's like the actual main character of that movie. Yeah, like
Two Hemsworths were in this. Wow.
yeah, two
Really?
Hemsworths were in this, which is rare most of the time. I don't know. Is that rare?
I don't know, but I
It
just
might
saw.
not be rare.
I scrolled down and
Haven't
it's
a lot.
Liam Hemsworth, Russell Crowe, Luke Hemsworth as the top 3 billings. So.
Yeah, I forgot that Luke was in there.
Tyler, wait. I'm sorry. Top review on Letterboxd. There is a subplot where Russell Crowe begrudgingly goes grocery shopping for vegan products for his wife, and it was more riveting than the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I know that. I saw that review. I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that. Because I think I gave it a 3.5.
You
I
gave it a
think.
3. My brother actually rated it.
3.
A rare rate for my brother, and he gave it a 4.
Yeah, so there's some good stuff in it. Like, under this movie, there is some good stuff, but there is also a lot of not good stuff. Like, the concept is interesting, right? Like, Liam Hemsworth plays the JTAC guy who, like, gets kind of like his whole team gets that he's embedded with pretty much gets aced, and he has to figure out a way to get out. And he has to work with Russell Crowe's character to like navigate his way through this like war zone. It's pretty cool. It's like I don't know, it just does cool stuff. But like there's some really shitty scenes, like that aforementioned Russell Crowe is in a store. And like there's a whole like subplot with Russell Crowe's character that literally could have been done without it, and it was terrible. If they removed that from the movie, I probably would have given it like a 4. Legitimately, like it, and I picked it because I was like, it was between that and oh my god, it was like this one like murder mystery movie, like one of these murder mystery movies. And I was like, yo, I'm too tired. I want something that I could turn my brain off and watch. So I watched that, and it didn't disappoint. And while we were in Arizona, we watched. Michelle and I took a date day, like just ourselves. just to hang out. Like it was just an us day, and we capped the evening off by watching Fall Guy, that Ryan Gosling movie.
Yeah, how was it?
Oh, I'm curious about this one.
He just like me for real, dog. He's just like me. Um, no, I thought it was good. I don't think it was like anything stellar. Um, but I think it's one of those, like, if you really like movies, you'll like this. It's kind of corny, but it's also fun. Like it's also pretty funny. Like I think Ryan Gosling should just keep doing funny roles. Personally,
Hmm.
I mean, he's hilarious.
I honestly think this is where he shines. I have never been a huge fan of him before. And I only kind of liked him in I almost said Cyberpunk 2077, Blade Runner
Blade Runner.
2049, because like I just like cyberpunk shit. But I really liked him in Barbie. He was funny in Barbie, and I thought he was funny in this.
You know what?
Tim, I think
funny
you would
in,
like it.
Oh, I think I would. I was told I should go see it in theaters. I wish I could have gone see it in theaters. I want to watch this and also the movie he did with Russell Crowe, which was called what, Tyler? The Other
The movie he
Guys?
did with Russell.
The Nice Guys?
Oh, that movie was shit.
Was it really?
Yeah, I watched
Oh.
that when it came out. I don't remember shit
YouTube
except that
showed
I
me
hated
some
it.
clips, and I thought it was kind of funny. It's got pretty
Wait, was
high
that
reviews.
semi-recent, or was that a while ago?
Letterbox.
Oh, it came out a
2016.
while
It's
ago.
8 years. Oh
yeah.
God, it's 8 years
Damn.
old.
Yeah. I mean, you give it a try. You know what? I'm even willing to watch it with you. But I remember
I want to watch Fall
watched
Guys
it with
more.
Trevor.
I remember seeing something of Ryan Gosling being funny in that movie too.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember. The only thing I remember was that I did not like the other guys.
That's fair.
Or not the other guy.
Nice
Yeah,
Guys.
it is the other guys.
No. Other
Nice guys. Other guys is
Other
Other
Guys
Nice
is the
Guys.
hilarious
Yeah.
Will Ferrell and Marky
Yes.
Mark.
Yes. You didn't read the description of that.
Oh
Did you want to?
no, I
Did
didn't.
you want to keep doing this, or
No,
was
no.
it just
I
for-
want to
'cause
keep
we-
doing it. I did it for.
Because we both knew what this movie was about.
Yeah, that's why.
yeah.
But here. Oh, because they keep giving these one little liners on Letterboxd. I don't know if they're getting that from somewhere. Fall hard. Fresh off an almost career-ending accident, stuntman Colt Seavers has to track down a missing movie star, solve a conspiracy, and try to win back the love of his life while still doing his day job.
Yes.
What a weird. I should have read
I
that
should
one
do-
first.
I should
That's a
do these in
friggin'
the
weird
movie
one.
announcer voice going forward.
Hey man, I can try, okay?
Yeah.
Cheese and
Yo,
Rice
it's-
Friedman. It doesn't always have to be you doing the voice.
In a world where one man reads the
No,
movie descriptions.
this isn't the school
Yeah.
announcements when we were growing up where you.
Dude, I used to
Also-
Pledge of Allegiance like it was epic.
Hell yeah. Longtime listeners, for those of you who are aware of my dislike for Emily Blunt, I actually liked her in this movie.
I was going to ask about that because I was going to
Is
say,
it
isn't
because-
your least favorite lady in this movie?
Is it because she's the least Emily Bluntness out of all of her movies?
Yes, actually. She's not so much of a bitch.
Damn.
Okay.
Like, actually, it's true. Look,
she's a likable character in
every
this.
movie she's in, she plays as like a really like rigid bitch. She just rubs me the wrong way, like sandpaper. Like, I don't know. Like, there's some about her acting, like in her face, like I just don't like it. And you know what? I realized this when I watched The Devil Wears Prada.
I was going to ask if you've seen this movie.
Yeah, no. So I like The Devil Wears Prada. That was a good movie. Michelle showed it to me last year, and I was like, "Does this explain why she acts like this all the time? Because this was her breakout role, and she just doesn't know how else to not be a bitch." Like, I don't understand. Though I guess in A Quiet Place she wasn't too bad, but most other things she's in, it's just like, I don't know, something about her on-screen presence just doesn't really like grab me. It's yeah, I don't know.
Did you watch Edge of
It's
Tomorrow?
weird. I did.
Were you okay with her in that because she's like supposed to be
Yes.
this hardened badass?
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, this makes sense for her. I think I said that to Michelle because I watched it with her.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that she was
and
pretty
I
good
was
in
like,
that.
man, this is much better than ReZero. Which,
Damn.
fun fact for you, those of you at home who probably don't know,
Oh my god, that
that
scared
is
the
a live.
Sorry, I didn't realize how loud it was gonna be.
Damn. Wait, what happened? I missed it.
You didn't
Oh,
hear it?
did you not hear the witch's noise?
He did the witch's
No, I
noise.
didn't.
All right, well, I won't play it again. Keep doing your description.
I didn't hear it. That's damn. At least everybody else heard it.
Yeah,
No, I was
everyone else
saying.
definitely heard it.
Oh, I think because I have this. Oh no, but
You have
that's your own
soundboard disabled?
soundboard. I don't have it disabled. I might have had it muted for me. Yeah, that makes sense. Or it doesn't. I don't know.
Or it
Whatever.
doesn't.
Anyway, yeah, Emily Blunt. Oh yeah, no. Yeah. So, right, did we talk about this, Freeman? That Edge of Tomorrow is a live action adaptation of Kill Die Repeat.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
all you need is kill. I forget what the other.
Yeah,
All
they
You Need Is
renamed it to one
Kill,
of those
right, yeah.
movies after the release didn't go so well. They like re-released it as that name.
Yeah. So
Like
yeah.
Live, Die, Repeat or something.
Live, Die, Repeat sounds familiar.
I don't know, but I thought Edge of Tomorrow was pretty cool.
It was.
And then the last thing I watched was on my way home. I watched American Fiction.
I was curious about this
Thelonious
one.
Monk Ellison's writing career has stalled because his work isn't deemed black enough. Monk, a writer and English professor, writes a satirical novel under a pseudonym, aiming to expose the publishing world's hypocrisies. The book's immediate success forces him to get deeper enmeshed in his assumed identity and challenges his closely held worldviews.
Very accurate. Very accurate. So I chose this movie because I like the talent in it. I forgot
Jeffrey
the guy.
Wright's a
the
pretty
main
cool
character.
guy.
Yeah,
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey
That's what I'm
Wright.
thinking of. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, he's cool. I like Jeffrey Wright and like almost everything he does. But I also picked it because specifically for the topic, and I don't know if I talked about it on this podcast,
Don't think so.
but it does get a little bit. I guess this does play a little bit into race, so forgive me. But I've talked to you guys about blaxploitation films
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and how I'm not a huge fan of it. And this main character is also not a huge fan of it. Like,
You bonded with him.
I bonded with him on a soul level. But what's interesting for him is, right, like it's one of those like, oh, I'm never going to do X thing, but then a life-altering event happens, and then character is forced to do life-altering thing. But under the microscope of blaxploitation media,
Mm-hmm.
and they touch on it, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. And I also like the point, and they kind of make a point at the end where it's like, yo, none of this is supposed to be either happy nor sad. It just is.
Hmm.
It's not like nihilistic or anything. It's just like, yo, shit happens, and like, this is it, kind of thing.
You rate it.
I rated it a 4.
All right.
I almost rated it a 4.5, and then I was like, no, I feel like there's some other things like it probably could have done, but I don't know. I think it was actually pretty good. Objectively, it was pretty good. I think, regardless of your views on blaxploitation films, whether you like them or don't, I think you could enjoy this movie, no matter. Even if you don't even have a leg in that race, you can enjoy this movie. It's about a character who goes through growth, and it has it tells a story in a good way. It's not if you're looking for a happy ending at the end, like don't come looking for it here because it's not here.
Damn.
Does it leave
Yeah.
you feeling unfulfilled?
It didn't leave me unfulfilled. But I could see how some other people aren't. And actually, it's funny. Like, the movie is almost self-aware, but they do it in a very interesting way. Like, they tell it in a very interesting way at the end of the movie. So yeah, like I can't like without going into it, they kind of tell you the viewer like, yeah, we could have ended it this way, but that's not how things really work.
How the real world ends.
Yeah, like they're trying to make it as like, it's a comedy, but I guess trying to make it as grounded as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, because like they play it off like the main character's a writer, and so like he's supposed to be like a very good, like eloquent writer, and he was successful in writing one piece, but he hasn't been successful since, and like he's kind of had a writer's block,
Gotcha.
and he sees another author that is using like the most like ignorant language in their book, and it's selling like hotcakes, and he's like, well, what the fuck, like that's not right. Like, anybody could write some stupid shit probably and, get away with it, right? And so he does it, sends it to his editor, and his editor's like, yo, this is gold. We should publish it. And he's like, no, no, no. Like, I gave this to you to show you how ridiculous it is. And he's like, yeah, but we have like a $750,000 offer to publish this book, though,
Oh
now.
my god.
And he's like, ah, shit. So, and then hilarity ensues. Like it's a pretty funny movie. Like I would recommend it to you guys if like were bored, had nothing to do, if you were on a flight somewhere
Mm-hmm.
on American Airlines, and you could watch it for free.
American Airlines.
Gosh, I saw the trailer and I was like, all right, 50-50, this is a good movie. But hearing you say you liked it is enough to convince me to watch it.
Yeah, definitely give it a try. I think you guys would like it. If not, at least a little bit, or understand why I enjoyed it.
Sure.
It touched a particular like bone in my body, and I feel like this was a movie that oddly spoke to me in an interesting way.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and then I can just go over the other two things real quick. I listened to Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. The same author who you guys have heard me talk about for the Temeraire series. And what's that other book? I don't know, the one that I read a couple months ago that I got recommended from Val. I don't know why I'm
I don't even
blanking
know
on
the
the
titles
title.
of most books she reads.
She be reading a lot of books these days.
Lotta.
But this one, but like, so Naomi Novik though, she came out with like 2 books. She's gonna be coming out with another one later on that has short stories, but she came out with 2 books that are kind of like a play on fairy tales. So this one is based off Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this is about a Jewish girl, right? And she makes a boast like to her family member, like, "Yo, I'm so good at flipping money, basically, like flipping stuff, selling shit, whatever, that I'm basically spinning silver into gold." And so the fairy king hears this and he shows up to her door. He's like, "Listen, I hear you can spin silver into gold. You either turn this shit into gold or I turn you to ice. Bye-bye."
Huh.
And that's the book. I mean, it's way more involved, but that's like
The gist of it.
basically the gist of it. Yeah, it was good. I really liked it. I don't think I like Uprooted. I didn't like it as much as Uprooted, but I like this one. I would say almost as much. Like Spinning Silver is pretty good.
Okay.
Out of the 2, Michelle enjoys Spinning Silver more than Uprooted. Uprooted was about not Rapunzel. I gotta look that up. But yeah, that was like a play on something. But I like that more because it was more like dark fantasy
Okay.
than this. Like people go into this dark forest and like people are getting got, and there's like crazy like magic battles. Like it was pretty dope. I liked Uprooted like way. I never expected it to be like that, but it was really cool. And then the second book, I read this, not listened to it. I read the Olympian Affair by mine and Tim's one of our favorite authors, Jim Butcher.
Bah, 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 bah.
Bah, 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 bah. I'm gonna come out and say it, Tim. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I know.
You figured?
No, I mean the way you were describing it, you said like when we talked about it the other day, you were like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really enjoy this that much. You didn't enjoy. You said you didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. I'm a little frustrated by it. Not gonna lie, I haven't read it since like a couple months now. Jeez, but like it wasn't grabbing me. Like this world seemed so interesting after the first book, but now I'm like, there's so many perspectives we're bouncing around. There's so much political shit. So much seems to just be happening to happen. Like it seems so impossible for the good guys to win. And then they just always the bad guys are like whoopsies, we screwed up, and then the good guys can just barely eke out a stalemate.
Yeah.
Like it's frustrating that at the end of the first book, what felt like such a victory, I haven't finished the book, feels like it meant literally nothing.
Yeah, that's what they really come and like play it off as. In this book, it's like, nah, we're struggling here. They Aurora has the upper hand for sure, and I'm like, what? So I don't know, and like, yeah, I don't know. I do want you to finish it because I need someone to talk to about this because I told you I love Aeronauts Windless. Like I
Yeah,
thought
it
Aeronauts
was a
Windless
great time.
was so good. I would argue if Tress didn't come out last year, I would say that would probably be my top. Actually, I was talking to Michelle. I was like, between that book, Crest of the Emerald Isle, and Best Served Cold, those were like in no particular order, like my favorites. But if I didn't read any of those, I'd be like, yo, Aeronauts is like easy top read last year. It was good. I was like, damn, I'm so upset I slept on it. But I was also glad I slept on it because I'm like, oh, I can just follow it up with Olympian Affair like right after, not too long after. And I'm just like, I'm not here. And like there's one or two characters that like they're doing stuff in this book and it means nothing at the end. It means literally like what they do just means nothing.
At the end of this book, you're not making me want to
Yeah.
finish the book, Tyler.
I know. I was hoping to maybe hold off, but I'm like, man, I need to get this out. I mean, because all I could do was like rant to Michelle, and I couldn't do anything. Like you are getting an abridged version, a heavily abridged version. What I told her,
I believe you.
you know, and there are some good parts, like the action parts, though. Say, like, rest assured, they are all still good.
I'm
So,
sure they are. Like the action
there's
was
that.
really cool.
You know what I'm thinking, Tim? I'm thinking because I was bouncing this off with Michelle. I was like, "How much you want to bet that Butcher was struggling trying to write this out?
Probably.
After all of his shit that was going on."
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Yeah,
Yeah.
for context, Jim Butcher's been through a bunch of shit in the last few years, so
When you say a bunch of shit, like what do you mean?
family stuff. Like, didn't he get divorced, Tyler? His dog passed
He got
away.
divorced. His dog passed away, and then got remarried, and then he moved, and he was like a bunch of shit. Like he talked about it like in one of his blog posts. Like after he was gone, like because he was pretty responsive on his like website,
Yeah.
and then he just kind of stopped like doing anything or posting anything for a while, and then he came back. He's like, "Yo, sorry guys, this was happening to me," and it's like, "Oh shit."
Serious stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, was it like just
So
one big post, or was it like he gradually came out like, hey, this is happening, hey, this is also happening, hey, this third thing happened? Or was it just kind of like a.
Nah, I think he lore dumped us in like one post.
I don't remember. Probably.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think he just lore dumped us.
Lord dumped us.
He did. It's
No,
true.
yes, I know. I know.
It's
he did.
correct.
It just
It's
sounds
a
funny.
way to say it.
Yeah. It's not trauma dump, it's the lore
Lore
dumper.
dump.
It's the Lord dump.
Yeah. Actually, it's yeah. Oh, was it? I was gonna say it reminds me of, because I don't know if you remember, Tim, but I guess one of the working titles for Dresden Files was called Full Auto Magic. I don't know
I
if
did
you've
not remember
heard
that, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, I remember
Full
I was
Magician.
reading that, like it was like a post or like in a book, right? Where Butcher was talking about like titles for Dresden, and one of them was called Full Auto Magic, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm so glad that he did not.
I'm
His
glad he
publisher
didn't
was
do
like,
that, but
nah.
that's badass.
It
That's a
is
name that's like
badass.
badass, but it would have sold no copies.
Yeah.
It would have sold 0 copies. No,
That's
it
a lie. It
reminded
would have
me
sold
of
some, but like, wow.
I probably wouldn't have picked it. Well, the only reason why I
Damn.
picked it up is because of listen, the title fits my aesthetic to a T. But you never catch me like actually reading it and be like, oh, this is some
Actually,
corny ass shit. No, I'm listening to the Black Powder Mage series. I'm listening to the first book, but people online classified it as Flintlock fantasy, and I thought that was funny.
Flintlock fantasy.
Yeah. I'm done talking about my stuff. I took too long.
it's
All right, no
okay.
problem.
We're only at almost 45. Raven's only got a little more to do.
Yeah, I only got 2, and these are gonna be kind of short. With 2 of my friends, we're kind of on this binge of watching both sports movies and movies based on real events. And one big crossover that I hadn't seen before was Miracle, which friend was out of the loop, is about the 1980 Olympic Miracle on Ice game between the U.S. and Russia, starring oh my God, Kurt, what's his face?
Kurt Russell?
Potentially, I believe that's his name.
I mean, that's a famous Kurt. I don't know if
Yes,
that's it.
I think it's Kurt Russell. Anyway,
Oh yeah, you rated it 4 stars.
I very much enjoyed the movie. I thought it was
Kurt
really
Russell.
funny that everyone nailed the accents of the movie, because one of the big things is that there's this big East Coast versus West Coast divide where all the East Coast players are from Boston, so all the actors speak with a Boston accent. But Kurt
Bastard.
Russell is from Minnesota, so he's speaking with a Midwest accent the whole movie. All in all, I really liked it. We've been going through a bunch of sports movies, and it kind of hurt that we watched Mighty Ducks, which I remember being a lot less of a kids movie than when I saw it when I was a kid. So seeing a serious hockey movie was a lot of fun. I thought this was just very, I thought it was just a very well done movie. I very much enjoyed it. But I now I
If
think
you
about, I'm not.
believe in yourself, anything can happen.
Oh my God.
It's literally in all caps at the top of the line for the
Yeah, it's
letterbox description.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes. I don't know. I'm a big fan of historical fiction, so it was pretty good. And then on the topic of non-historical fiction, I got invited over to a friend's house. They said we wanted to do this couch co-op game, and then gave 0 details into what we were doing. They just said bring Xbox controllers, which we ended up not needing because this game involves a single controller. So we played this game called the Dark Picture Anthology's Man of Madon, and this is part of a larger series of games where the best way I can describe it is it's like a playable horror movie where
Wait, isn't this tied to the movie where the game, the like interactive game where the kids are in the woods, Tyler? Is it like After Dark or something like that?
Until dark. Or until dawn,
Until
sorry.
Dawn.
Until dawn,
I
yeah.
think it's the same studio.
It is the same studio.
Yeah, I thought I remember. Okay. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, it's
Freeman.
the same studio. They did this Man of Medan and it's the Dark Pictures trilogy.
Dark Pictures Anthology. So there's 4 games out, and they call that season 1. There's gonna be, I think, 4 more for season 2. They did a PlayStation VR game, but it's interesting. So like the problem I always have with horror movies is just the characters make the worst decisions possible. But the magic of this game is you're playing as these horror movie characters, and they present to you 3 terrible decisions for you to make, and you get to pick how you want to go about it. So it honestly made it feel like a fun, interactive horror movie. Is the best way I can describe it. The only issue I had was you need the right group of people to play this with.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a bunch of people who kept going on their cell phones, not paying attention to the plot, and then not picking up on what was going on with the mystery.
Oh no.
And then also, I was with one person who never used an Xbox controller before, so every time a QuickTime event came up, they would just constantly press the wrong button. Like we had a bit where we had to figure out how to like time our heartbeats correctly, and I was hiding from the villain. I had the option to run away or listen for more lore, and I was like, I've just timed 60 heartbeats in a row. I can do 20 more. So I listened there for the lore dump, only to pass control over to someone for them to miss 3 QuickTime events and kill the character that I was working on hiding. And I was like, God fucking damn it! Like
I'd be
the
pissed as fuck.
the best analogy I have for this is I know Tim, you didn't have a PS3, but Tyler, did you play Heavy Rain when it came out?
Yes.
So I went
Played
through
it multiple
hoops
times.
to make sure that everyone survived that game until I got to like the last encounter, and I fucked up 2 QuickTime events in a row and lost like 3 people. I
I'd be
was
pissed.
so fucking mad, and I felt that emotion all over again watching half our cast die at the finish line in this game,
Ouch.
and we got like one of the worst endings you could get.
Ouch.
So
I
was
would never
very
play
upset.
that shit with them ever again.
But the problem is the couple who invited me very much want to play the rest of the series. I'm very interested in this, but the other two, I'm like, I got to figure out how to either get them off their phones or like we got to play this on a PlayStation controller so they don't fuck up the QuickTime events. Because it was pretty bad. But overall, I think this is a really cool game genre. I would definitely be down to do something like this with Squad one night. Because it's also like, outside of the QuickTime events, you don't really need to be a gamer to play this.
Cool.
So
Yo,
as long
I
as
would be down to play Dark Pictures with you guys.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, once Luigi moves and we have a lot more time on Sunday nights, we should do that.
Damn.
It do be like that though.
It do be like that though. High level concept. I remember watching my old roommate play Until Dawn. And he and that's how he showed me Cabin in the Woods, because he's like, yo, Until Dawn's like just like Cabin in the Woods. I'm like, what's Cabin in the Woods? He's like, you've never seen Cabin in the Woods? And so we watched. I'm like, damn, this is a banger. Speaking
I
of
tried
another
to watch it,
Hemsworth
just never
movie,
watched it. I was like, horror is just so
Well, how
not
far-
my thing.
how far did you get into?
I don't remember. They were talking about Cthulhu and keeping monsters sated by sacrificing.
Oh,
people.
damn, you were at the end of the movie. Shit. Alright, if you didn't like it by then
Maybe I'm
I
thinking
guess,
of the
yeah,
wrong
it makes
movie.
sense.
I don't know.
No. You are thinking of the right movie.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, sure. I guess you don't like horror, but you like Dead Space, though.
Yeah, because it's a solid action game.
So
Does
on
that
the
mean
topic of not
you'll
liking
watch- Oh, God.
on the topic of not liking horror movies, I'm usually terrible with horror movies because I scare super easily. And it was really obvious when we were playing this game because every jump scare, no one would flinch with me, and I'd go flying off the couch.
That's hilarious. That's good.
Just
Wait,
the way
Tim.
you said that, Freeman.
Will
Like,
you
it's
watch
very
Event
easy to
Horizon,
scare me.
though?
Event Horizon?
Yeah.
That's scary or it's just creepy as fuck.
Nah, that's pretty scary.
Is that just weird?
I mean,
I do want to watch it at some point.
I think it-
guess. I don't know.
no, yeah.
I
Well, I'm
gue- no, I said
surprised.
I guess. Like, sure.
Yeah.
I
I
just
mean, it's
don't-
not by
I
any
just don't-
means a good
like,
movie.
okay,
but-
I remember when I told you guys I went to Texas last year, and I watched when Opal and I got to watch Barbarian alone in an empty theater. That was fun. Like, I enjoyed that. That movie was spooky. It like had a lot of horror-y elements, but it was still like kind of interesting. Like, the weakest part of that was the horror, but like it was still kind of tense, and like I gave that a pretty good review, I thought, on Letterboxd. Like, I enjoyed seeing that.
I just brought up Event Horizon only because it inspired Dead Space.
No, I know, and I'm not saying no. That's why I'm not like shutting it down. I'm just
Yeah.
Dead Space to me was always, I love playing this game. Like,
Yeah.
like the act of playing Dead Space is just such a good fucking video game that I was like, I don't really care that it's like kind of jump scary and spooky because I'm just having fun shooting the monsters because it feels real good to play. We've talked about this because that's why I never got into Resident Evil 4. Because playing Resident Evil 4 didn't feel nearly as good to me as playing Dead Space.
That's fair. Also, Dead Space is much newer. I guess I am that
What?
guy who's like, what?
They're the same
Dead
generation.
Space is newer.
They're the same console generation.
No, it's
Wait,
not.
what?
What? Resident Evil 4
You're
came out on the
tripping.
GameCube.
GameCube.
Yeah, Dead Space came out on the
PlayStation
360 and
360.
PS3.
Oh my god, am I fucking?
You're
oh
Yeah,
my
you're
God.
you're off one gen.
Yeah. You're wild, Tim. We're that old. Remember
Let's
that.
be real. The Wii wasn't real. The GameCube was.
And
competing
look,
with
you
360.
hear the
No,
keys
no.
clacking.
I was
'cause he wants to
responding. I was
confirm.
responding to someone on Discord, but no. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
I literally forgot that the GameCube wasn't next to the 360.
Yeah. Rolled.
Okay,
as fuck.
Tyler, but is it fair to say that it's newer or more just that you can move while you're shooting? Because that's really the only thing that
Damn.
matters to me.
Yes, both.
I don't know if it's newer. I think I just
Yes.
like playing the act of playing the game a lot more.
It's also possible. I mean, they did, not for nothing, they did add moving and shooting to Resident Evil 6, but it,
Yeah, I was
shit,
well, I was gonna say, let's put it this way: I played Halo before I ever played a Resident Evil game, and then I tried Resident Evil 4, and I was like, wow, I can't stand not moving while I'm shooting.
listen, it's a game mechanic. They had to
I know.
keep over.
I'm not. Look, I'm not throwing any shade. I'm just saying that's why I couldn't get into it, and I thought Dead Space was a banger.
You know.
All right, let's end the
Whatever.
podcast. Tyler's just being Tyler's getting upset because I didn't say Resident Evil 4's top 10 games of all time.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
All right, we gotta go watch a 3-week-old terminal montage video. So why don't we end the podcast here? So,
Oh hell yeah!
until next time, my name is Timpedia.
I'm Friedman.
Only just Tyler.
We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.